Hello students, now let's start the chapter of reproductive physiology. Now in this module, let's mainly concentrate on the basics. So let's start with the topic of fertilization. What exactly is fertilization? Fertilization is the fusion of a male gamete plus a female gamete. Okay, the fusion of a male gamete and female gamete. So what is a male gamete? We all know that male gamete is the sperm and a female gamete is a ovum. So the fusion of sperm and ovum is known as a fertilization. So during this step, what are the important points you need to keep in mind? Guys, please remember, during fertilization, a ovum will all the time carry a X chromosome, but a sperm during fertilization can carry an X chromosome or even a Y chromosome. Fusion of X along with X, for example, even here in this case, the sperm is also carrying the X chromosome. So fusion of X chromosome from the ovum and X chromosome from the sperm will gives rise to a karyotype of XX, that is double X. So the product of this conceptus means the baby. The baby is going to be a female. You know it? And the fusion of X from the ovum and Y from the sperm. For example, if the sperm is bringing the Y chromosome, then the result will be X and Y. Okay, so in the cells of the baby, you can find an X chromosome and Y chromosome. So the resultant will be a male baby. Guys, here you can clearly find that a female is having a 2 X chromosomes and a male is having only 1 X chromosome. It means a female is carrying an extra X chromosome when compared to a male. So what actually happens here is, in a female, that extra X chromosome is going to be inactivated. So in females, let me write it here. Note, in female, extra X chromosome will be inactivated. So this process is known as, okay, very important process. This process is known as lionization. Okay, so what is meant by lionization, guys? Lionization is nothing but the inactivation of the extra X chromosome. See, this X can be a random X. Okay, 2 X's are there, right? Any of the X chromosome can undergo inactivation. This process is known as lionization. Now, this inactivated X chromosome is known as, let me write it here, this inactivated X chromosome is known as bar body. Okay, so inactivated X chromosome in a female is known as bar body. So physiologically speaking, a female will have one bar body. Okay, this is something physiological. Now, after seeing this, let's go further. Now, after the fertilization, as we mainly talking about the reproductive physiology, you need to know certain important timelines for the development of the reproductive system. Okay, so let's discuss about timelines. So what are the important timelines? Let's start. Week 1 to 6. Okay, week 1 to 6. During weeks 1 to 6, there is no sexual differentiation. There is no sexual differentiation or there is no phenotypic differentiation, which means you cannot identify the growing fetus, okay, or the growing embryo as a male or female. Okay, you cannot differentiate. Why? Because both of them look similar. During week 6 to 7, differentiation of mesonephric and paramesonephric ducts will complete. Differentiation of mesonephric and paramesonephric ducts. We all know that mesonephric duct is also known as Wolffian duct and paramesonephric duct is also known as a Mullerian duct. See, this mesonephric duct and paramesonephric duct, they will lead to the development of internal reproductive organs. For example, a mesonephric duct or Wolffian duct will give rise to male internal reproductive organs, and paramesonephric duct, which is also known as Mullerian duct, which can lead to a development of the internal reproductive organs in a female. That we will see later. Now, week 12. So, during week 12, what actually happens? Development of external genitalia is complete. Okay, so development of external genitalia is completed. It's a very important MCQ. You have to keep this in mind. Okay, they will ask you the external genitalia development will be completed by which week? By 12th week of period of gestation. Now, week 20. So, during week 20, the complete phenotypic differentiation can be seen. Okay, so phenotypic differentiation is complete. Okay, now you can completely identify that this is a male baby and this is a female baby. Okay, so such a phenotypic differentiation is completed. After this, week 23. Now, during this week 23, what happens? There is a descendant of these gonads. Descent of gonads. We all know that the testes, which are formed as intra-abdominal organ. Okay, testes initially they are intra-abdominal. Now this testes, they are descended down to scrotum with the help of gubernaculum, we know it. So this descent of gonads is completed by week 23. Okay, so after this, let's see about the different types of sex. Okay, what does I mean by? Now you will understand it. Okay, so first let's discuss about a chromosomal sex. So what exactly I mean by a chromosomal sex? For example, a female can be differentiated from male with the help of chromosomes. How? For example, a female will have two X chromosomes and a male will have one X chromosome and one Y chromosome. So this is the chromosomal sex. Chromosomal sex of a female is XX and a chromosomal sex of a male is X and Y. Okay. Now here I want to highlight an important point. See, the X chromosome in a male is always donated by the mother. Okay, the X chromosome in a male is always given by the mother and the Y chromosome is given by a father. And in female, one X is given by mother and the other X is given by a father. This is the chromosomal sex. After chromosomal sex, let's discuss about a gonadal sex. Means a sexual differentiation based on the gonads. For example, if it's a female, in a female, what are the gonads? It is ovaries. Okay, in a female, the gonads are ovaries, and a male, the gonads are a testis. Here, some important points you need to keep in mind is a male is having this testis because of a male have Y chromosome, and on this Y chromosome there is SRY gene. Okay, there is SRY gene, and this SRY gene will help in the formation of a testis. In a female, there is no Y chromosome. It means there is no SRY gene. So, absence of, let me write it here. Absence of Y chromosome. Okay, in female, there is absence of Y chromosome. So, by default, the gonads will become ovaries. So by default, the gonads will become ovaries in a female. So absence of Y chromosome, there is no SRY gene in a female. So the default gonads will be ovaries. So after seeing the gonadal sex, let's see about the phenotypic sex. Okay. Phenotypic sex means, phenotypic means morphologically. So when I am discussing about the phenotypic sex, the external genitalia in a female, okay, the external genitalia in a female will be a vulva, and the external genitalia in a male will be scrotum and a penis. Okay, scrotum and penis. Guys, a very important MCQ you have to keep in mind here is, see, why there is this phenotypic sexual differentiation. For example, there is vulva in a female and scrotum and penis in a male. Why? Because in a male, under the influence of, see, let me write it here. Under the influence of dihydrotestosterone, under the influence of dihydrotestosterone, the external genitalia in male will become a scrotum and penis. But do you expect the same dihydrotestosterone is present in a female? No. So because of the absence of dihydrotestosterone, by default, the external genitalia will become a female, like that is vulva. So, one important MCQ you have to keep in mind here is a presence of SRY gene, there will be testis. Absence of SRY gene, automatically by default there will be ovaries. Presence of dihydrotestosterone, the external genitalia will be male, that is scrotum and penis. Absence of dihydrotestosterone, the external genitalia will be vulva, which includes clitoris, mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, vestibule, all this. Okay. Now, this module is completed. Let's continue with the next one.